What's up guys, Jesse here with Red Room Cinema. In this video, the question is the Canon C80 still a great camera in 2026 with the new C50 release? There's a lot of, which camera should I buy? And the quick answer is yes. And I'm gonna be talking to you about my experience filming in Africa with the Canon C80. And yes, once the C50 released, I dove in and I saw all the specs. So if you have had trouble deciding on which camera to buy, I'm gonna tell you in a very non-biased way. And this video is not sponsored by Canon or anybody. I paid for everything myself. So you're gonna get a real authentic answer on what will benefit you the most. Let's talk about real quick about the pros and the cons of the Canon C80. And this is, I've been using the Canon C80, I'm gonna be going on about a year now. So the pros of the Canon C80 is full frame 6K. The built-in ND filters, high, okay, very high pro on that one. The triple base ISO, it's just a low light king, this camera. The 4 channels of audio, the integrated handle that comes when you buy it in the box. It's just very uniquely designed. It gives you 2 extra shoe mounts, and it doesn't take away by using a shoe mount to mount the camera to the handle, or vice versa. So the battery life is pretty good. I ended up buying a BPA 60N battery, which is like double the capacity of the normal one, just because when I was going to Africa, I knew that we would go back home, or go back to our place after we go out and film. So there was gonna be a time to recharge. However, I was gonna be the only one filming, so I did not want battery life or storage to be an issue. So that gives me about 6 hours to 7 hours of combined battery life. So the battery life is pretty good on the Canon C80. It really gives you what the camera says it has. So if it's 2 hours, it's 2 hours. Now the fan, I've never had it overheat. My settings were just always on. The fan was always on in a very low way. So this camera has never overheated on me. It's ready to film once you turn the camera on, and I think that is very important when, sometimes your camera is off and a moment is happening and you don't need to wait a long time before this camera boots up and it's ready to shoot. And whatever settings you left it on prior to when you were filming, this is the exact same thing that's gonna be when, you turn on the camera on. So you can also post prep before you even go film, right? So if your filming ends at sunset, but you're gonna film at nighttime, you can set the settings before you turn off the camera to be accordance to filming at nighttime. And then when you turn it on, it's just gonna be that way. So the autofocus and log 2, of course, the image quality that the Canon C80 gives, it's really amazing, better than any camera that I have ever owned. Now let's talk about the cons of the Canon C80. No CF Express card, it's double only SD cards, which the V90s are pretty expensive. I got 2 pro grades, 256 gigabytes V90s for like 420 bucks. It's almost like $1 a gigabyte, more than $1 a gigabyte. So, or about, you get my gist. So it's pretty expensive, the SD cards. So, which would result in low transfer speeds. That's not good. So the price point, obviously, the price point is at $5,500 for the Canon C80. The buttons are a bit flimsy, so these buttons that you see on the side when you want to connect the HDMI, the microphone, and all of that, I have basically lost 2, but I realized it while I was still at the place where they fell, and I went to go look for them. And like one time, somebody who was picking up trash saw this HDMI button, and he just picked it up. And then I went and I told him I was looking for this because it was a petting zoo. So I went back to the spot and he said he found it. So these buttons are just too flimsy. I think for the price of this camera, you know, these shouldn't be falling when you're using the camera normally. So I think this is something they can improve for the Canon C90. And I think that's it for the cons on this camera. It's a little bulky, but I mean, it is what it is. Let's talk about the Canon C50. I don't have the Canon C50 with me. However, I have looked up the specs and I do know the specs. So let's talk about the pros of the Canon C50. The pros is the size. The size is so small. It's like a Sony FX3 type of body. So yeah, I think that is a huge plus, okay? The dual ISO is a pro, also a con. The CF Express card is also a pro. It shoots open gate. I personally don't care that much for open gate. I know a lot of people make a big deal about it, like, oh, you get to reframe and you get to restructurize and you get to do this in post. But I'm more of a guy that I get it done when I go out and film in the first place. So if I think I'm gonna be shooting vertical content also out of this, then I will frame vertical. I will be the open gate. So to me, it's not necessarily a big deal, you know? So it shoots 7K, 60 frames. It also takes pictures. The Canon C80 does not. The Canon C80 has like a photo button. So you just like press this button and then it ends up like taking a frame from your image, maybe like a screenshot type of thing. Now it also has D-Squeeze, the C50, which I think it's cool because, you know, when you film with anamorphic lenses, it's nice to be able to see that in screen and not necessarily need to put a monitor to be able to see that, how it's really gonna look. Now the cons on the C50, I would say, is the dual ISO and then the no ND filters. The C50 does not come with integrated ND filters, and I think, you know, they make these cameras so that one has something that the other does not. So now I got this camera because I knew my GH5 was not going to be able to take on this task. I needed a strong, powerful camera like this one, and I needed autofocus. I've been using manual focus for 6 years with the GH5, and it's very difficult. So when you're shooting a documentary alone, you're the only person capturing footage, you really need as much help as you can get, and this was gonna be it for me. So my filming experience with the Canon C80 is, you know, the pros is the portability. This camera right now, I have it with the 50, Nifty 50. I just have this as an extra backup lens so I can share my other lenses. I never used this when I went to go film over there. I rented a lens, a 24-70 RF. I rented that, and that pretty much stayed on the entire trip. Other than when we were filming with the animals in the safari, then I used the 100 to 400 EF lens, and I have an adapter for that as well. So the portability, this camera, as soon as I turn it on, this camera is basically ready to shoot. I don't have to mount any ND filters on this thing. It's already inside. So a press of a button, and basically the ND filters are gonna be, you know, adjusting. So it's very run and gun. Like I said, it's ready to shoot right now. I have 73 minutes of battery life currently right now, and that does stay true to what it says. It has never overheated with me while I've gone out to film. I've heard things about the R5 and other Canon cameras where, you know, they shoot 8K and they do all these crazy things, but you can only do it for like 20 minutes or 10 minutes and then it overheats on you. And a camera that overheats on you is no good and practically useless because, you know, you paid for your camera in full to be using it in increments. That does not go good with me. So it never overheated. The autofocus was insane. Filming with the cheetahs, it has animal tracking, eye detection on the animals, and then the image quality that this thing would give out is just very crisp, very beautiful images. The colors that I was able to extract out of this were very nice. The turning on the camera and it's ready to shoot, I really like that. It doesn't take a long time to boot up. Now, let's talk about cons when I was filming in Africa. The cons is the weight. after a while the weight does bear in your arms. And I do work out, I go to the gym, I lift, so that does help when filming with a camera like this. I didn't have a rig, everything was handheld the entire trip, no gimbal. That actually would have made it worse if I had a gimbal. So the transfer speeds, because it is an SD card, is not necessarily fast. Now, when I would transfer the footage, it would be once we were back to our hotel. I would basically offload everything from these cards. I never got them full when I went out to film each day, but just so I could have everything organized every day, I would go offload footage, and then it would take maybe like 20 minutes, sometimes 25 minutes for, you know, say 50 gigabytes. It's a V90 card, it's not as fast, so that is a con. However, I'll still take that con just for everything else that this camera has. Now, if I could go back and choose the Canon C50 over the C80 in this trip to Africa, would I do that? The answer is no. Built-in ND filters and triple base ISO, those two reasons alone, I will never choose the C50 over the C80. You know, the C50 has dual base ISO, which is good. However, I consider that camera to be like the little brother of this camera. So it's still a great camera, but if you just want to maximize low light, you want to, you know, be so compact that you can just focus on the shot rather than so much technical aspects like your ND filters and just, you know, extra lights because it's gonna get dark and you can't see, right? So I would still choose this camera over the C50. Now, if I do get a second camera, it would be the Canon C50 because of what it has. And the thing is, if I was able to mount this on a gimbal, I still would, but it's gonna be very heavy. Now, the C50's compact size, to be able to deliver everything it does in that small size, is a huge pro. So if you consider yourself someone that, like, okay, let's say for me, if I'm gonna go on a snowboarding trip and I want to take a camera to film, but I want a powerful camera, but I don't want to take the Canon C80 because it's big and bulky, I would choose the C50 over the C80 in that situation. So if you are one of the people that you just want a camera that has a lot of power, but in a compact size, then go for the C50. Because I think that camera is excellent, and I will probably pick up that camera as a B camera and sometimes an A camera when I don't want to use the C80 because of its weight, because I know what the weight will cost, you know, of a trip, like going to shoot a documentary, which I will provide a link so you guys can check that out. Now, the C50 is a Netflix approved camera. Now, it starts at $3,900, the C80 is $5,500. Now, those two are in order of the cameras that I would choose, and again, I'm not a Canon affiliate, I'm not giving you no affiliate links, I'm not an ambassador for Canon, so this is just an authentic user trying to help someone else like you. If you say, hey Jesse, those cameras are way out of my budget, what else do you got? Okay, so again, I'm on Canon's team, I can't hop on another team, so that's my laundry. Okay, so the Canon R6 Mark III, that camera is pretty good. It starts at $2,800. I think that one does so many features that that even like the C50 does. It does like 4K 60 or maybe 4K 120. It also has log 2, which you can match that. I could match that footage to this. Now here's the catch though. The R6 Mark III is not Netflix approved. And you say, Jesse, why would I care if this camera is Netflix approved or not? Okay, hear me out. Say I had the C80 and say I had the R6 Mark III that I took to Africa. Now I combine these footage, right? And say in some world I submit this on Netflix, I submit this on Amazon Prime or Prime Video or any of these companies, right? But because it was filmed with the Canon R6, that is not an approved high-grade camera, so that project will be denied. So you spend all this work filming and getting all these shots, and even though this camera is a really good camera, the R6, it is not approved by Netflix. It's not approved by, you know, as like a filmmaking camera. So that's what's gonna stop you from having projects get pushed out, you know, like short films. So keep that in mind when you're thinking on what camera it is that you wanna buy. Like I said, I love the Canon C80. I would never trade it for a C50. However, that doesn't mean I wouldn't get a C50. I will get a C50 to pair it with this and to have the C50 be like my upgraded GH5, my smaller compact camera who can also take some pictures, but it's also still powerful and it doesn't draw a lot of attention to me either. Because if you show up with a camera like this, it's super heavy, it's super bulky, people get curious, you know. It's a bit more just attention, you know, you just get more attention. And sometimes that is not a good thing, okay, depending on where you're at. So a C50 will blend in kind of with like a normal camera. So yeah, if you're thinking the Canon C80 is still relevant, still a hot camera right now, yes it is, so is the C50. I hope this video helps you out on deciding on which camera you would buy. Like I said, the C50, I would use it on more vlogging style. You know, I'm going on a trip, I'm going camping, I want a powerful, you know, cinematic video without the weight. Or if I say I don't care about the weight, I'm still gonna bring both of these cameras, the C80 and the C50. So, and if you say, Jesse, hey, those are too out of my budget, then just shoot for the Canon R6 Mark III. I'm not gonna be doing Netflix videos or none of that. I'm not gonna be creating short films. I totally get you. I would still recommend that you go with the Canon R6 Mark III. It comes at 2800, excellent photography camera and video camera. I hope this video helps you out. And if you have any questions, comment them down below and I will see you soon.